Hey, what is up, guys? This is Bo, or CarlHungus712, and thanks for the feedback on the last couple of videos, guys. Doing some older Call of Duties, I really appreciate that. But today, I'm going to continue with that series that I did last year, which you guys seem to really enjoy, and I appreciate that, because I love going back and playing older CODs just to see if they still hold up, if they still play as well as they did. You know, do we have those rose-colored glasses where we think, you know, the game was perfect, and then we go back and play it now, and the game's absolute crap. So I decided to hop over on Black Ops 1. Like I said, if you guys have been watching me for a while now, or if you've been a loyal subscriber, which, again, I always appreciate that, guys. Like I said, that's why I do these videos. I don't do them for money or anything. I just enjoy it, and I'm glad that a lot of you guys enjoy these videos, too. But Black Ops 1 was the very first Call of Duty that I ever played. This is basically how I got my start. Back in, oh god, what was it, 2013. So basically, the summer of Black Ops 2, right before Ghost was getting ready to come out. That's when I first started playing Call of Duty. The very first time I played COD, I absolutely despised. I just despised the game. I hated it. And it was just because I wasn't good at the game. You know, I played sports games. I was a Madden guy. That's all I played. Madden, a few different baseball games. Played some FIFA games. Really, the only shooters that I played are actually the only shooter that I really played was either hunting games on the PC, Operation Flashpoint, which is now Arma on the PC, or GoldenEye. I mean, those were basically the only shooters I played. And I just wasn't good at the game. So I figured I'd go back and do like a then and now, go back to some of the old Call of Duties. And I'll do even Call of Duties before this, because I did play MW3 around this time. Of course, I played MW2, Black Ops 2, and I just want to see if the games still play as well as they did, or as well as I remember them playing. Let you know how many people are on line if you guys are interested in going back and playing these older games. And just how the game, engine handles, how it feels. Is there a lot of lag in these lobbies? What to expect if you guys are like me, if you guys want to go back and enjoy some of the older CODs. Of course, this is Black Ops 1. This is on Array, one of my favorite maps. Love this map. Love a lot of the maps in Black Ops 1. And one thing that was really cool at the time with Black Ops 1 was that there's a lot of guns to choose from in this game. Of course, that comes with a caveat, of course. Even though there were a lot of weapons in this game, most of the weapons weren't very competitive if you were going up against some pretty good players. Some of the weapons kind of did the same thing, like the Commando and the AK-47, which you see that I pick up here, were actually the same weapon, same fire rates, same recoil pattern, same everything, just a different weapon skin. You had a couple of DMRs that were pretty close to being identical, the FAL and the M14. I'm using the FAL here, which was, I love DMRs. I always have. If you have a good trigger finger, they reward you, which I think is kind of cool. But basically, this game, when it came to the weapon balancing, originally I really enjoyed the weapons in the game, but as I got into the competitive scene, as I played Call of Duty more often, there weren't really that many competitive guns on Black Ops 1. Of course, the FAMAS was what everybody used in competitive. If you go on game battles, that's mostly what you're going to see. There are a few other weapons that you could play competitively with. The DMRs, if you had a good trigger finger and you could hit your shots, you could be competitive with, like the FAL here. I end up dropping right at, I think it's right at 30 kills on here, bare bones. And of course, I'm playing bare bones too, just so you can see pure gunplay. You can see the game mode I enjoyed most. But getting back to my criteria here, weapon variety on Black Ops 1, even though there are a lot of different weapons, which, is great to see. I love that. I love seeing a lot of different weapons you can use in the game. I think it makes the game much fresher. You don't just get worn out with using the same weapons, but again, when you've got an assault rifle that performs like a submachine gun and you can cross-map people with, you've got the FAMAS, the M16, and the G11. Actually, the G11 was probably my favorite gun on here. You had a couple of burst fire guns that you could get away with using, but for the most part, there wasn't a lot of useful weapon variety, as I should say. Back then, of course, when I first started playing this game, I really didn't know anything about netcode, hit detection, anything like that. So back then, it didn't really bother me. I thought the hit detection and the netcode were pretty decent on here. But then you go and play Ghost, you go and play MW2, you go and play some of the Infinity Ward games. The hit detection's pretty poor on this game. It's much better than it was for World at War. I'm sure there's a few other ones that were probably worse if you went back and played them. But the hit detection, like I said, it's okay. I mean, you can get it's not the worst thing on the planet, but it's not very strong in Black Ops 1. And like I said, that's one thing I've always felt strange about with Treyarch's games, is that I've noticed that the netcode's usually kind of poor in their games. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the engine that they use, if it's not updated in that point. I really don't know. But like I said, netcode wise, I think the game's pretty poor. I don't get shot around corners too terribly bad in Black Ops 1, but you'll just see it where you're on a character and you'll shoot 3 shots, but in your crosshair, your red dot, whatever you want to call it, your iron sight, will be right on the character, but some of your bullets don't always register, and sometimes you're shooting behind people in front of them, or just the hit boxes. Like I said, the net code on this game was not phenomenal. So the game, that way, again, doesn't perform quite as well as I remember it, but like I said, then again, this was the first COD I really played, so that wasn't a big issue for me at the time. Maps are still phenomenal. I enjoy a lot of the maps on here. I enjoy Array, Summit. The original Nuketown I enjoyed. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the small maps anymore, just because I like more of the strategic gameplay, and on a small map you really don't get that. It's basically run out, get as many kills as you can, die. Run out, get as many kills as you can, die. Spawn, kill, die, spawn, die, spawn, die, spawn. And that's why I don't care for the smaller maps quite as much. I mean, there's more action, you can get more kills, but it's much less tactical. I'm trying to remember some of the... Radiation was a pretty fun map. I enjoyed that map. I'm going to forget some maps on here, too. Now, I know a lot of people enjoyed the jungle on here. I hated the jungle. I think that was one of the worst maps ever in Call of Duty. It was a map where everybody blended in with everything. It was kind of a... I don't know. I just didn't like the flow of that map. Again, that's a subjective thing. I know a lot of people love that map. I hated it personally. Like I said, Radiation, Summit, Array, the original Nuketown I enjoyed. Firing Range was another one. I love the Firing Range. That was one of my favorite COD maps, was the Firing Range. Another great map. There's some other maps too that I'm forgetting. I'm trying to think real quick. There's a lot of maps on the older CODs, which is really good to see. But WMD, that was another map I really enjoyed. It was a larger map, but there was a lot of tactical spots in that map, which I really enjoyed. Another great map. So I think the maps were phenomenal. They still play as well as I remember them. I don't think this was the best Call of Duty for maps, but I do think it was very solid. The maps on this game were quite God, what do I want to say? I'm stuttering here, sorry guys, but I think the maps were quite good in this game. I'm trying to think of some other things too that I remember being quite good in the original game, but I didn't enjoy as much when I went back. Perks, for example. This game did bring in pro perks. I think that was a thing in some of the other CODs. I think in MW2 there were pro perks, if I remember correctly. I think World at War might have had them. I'm not 100% sure. I think pro perks were kind of a cool thing. They give you something more to grind at to make the game fresher, and to basically help you guys stay on the grind and to continue to play the game, because I think that's one of the problems we have in the newer CODs, is that we begin to lose interest in them after a while. So I think that was a good thing. Were all the perks that useful? Were any of them overpowered? I wouldn't say necessarily. I think actually Tac Mask was kind of underpowered because you had to get the pro perk variant to protect you from flashbangs and concussion grenades, but that, again, it gave you something to grind at, which I think always helps the game last a little bit longer. So I did like that part of it. Game modes on Black Ops 1, I think game modes were phenomenal. It was nice to see Bare Bones in here. Like I said, that's my favorite game mode. I love Bare Bones. I think it's the most tactical type of game on Black Ops 1. Of course, you had your normal domination, free-for-all, TDM, capture the flag, demolition, domination. you had all those. And you had a game mode that was kind of cool that I also enjoyed, and that was tactical, or not, sorry, not, or you did have tactical, but you also had, what is it, Team Deathmatch Express or something, where you basically get into lobbies much quicker, which was kind of nice if you wanted to hop on and just play a lot of games and you couldn't be on for a long period of time. You could get in a lot of games in a short period of time. When you get on these older games here, if you're not playing Team Deathmatch, you're going to struggle to find lobbies. TDM, Domination, and Search are usually your three main ones. You're going to struggle finding a game, and Bare Bones, I always struggle finding a game. But when you can get a few people in here, it's exciting to play. There's about 20,000 people on average on this game, which is pretty good. Like I said, you're not going to find too many problems getting into lobbies. You're just not going to get into certain game modes that you probably want to. Overall, I would have given this game probably a 9 when I first played it. Now I probably give it a 7, 7.5, just because of lag and lack of weapon usefulness. But I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. I'm going to have some more coming at you, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next video, and Bo out.